Shortly after being brought to the South Pavilion, Zhao Yu regained consciousness. The familiar environment and memories returned to her immediately. "Miss Fifth, why, you're awake." A female cultivator exclaimed in shock. What happened? Shouldn't I be in the cave of reflection?" Zhao Yu asked in confusion as she struggled to sit up. The derived Moon Palace's female cultivator next to Zhao Yu recounted what had happened earlier. Upon hearing this, she asked incredulously, "You're telling me that Master broke the witchcraft restriction for me?" "Yes." Pavilion Master came and broke the witchcraft spell with just a strike of his palm. The derived Moon Palace's female cultivator prepared some hot water as she said, "The witchcraft spell was terrifying. Fortunately, Mr. Third and Mr. Fourth arrived just in time." Zhao Yu sighed softly. She tried to circulate the primal qi from her Dantian sea of qi. The moment she attempted it, she felt sore all over. "Miss Fifth, the witchcraft restriction has just been lifted. It's best for you to rest for now. There's no need to rush your cultivation and circulate your primal qi. They'll recover in due time." Zhao Yu nodded and lay down. Half a day later, in the Evil Sky Pavilion, Zhou heard 2 notifications. Ding! Breaking Zhao Yu's witchcraft restriction. Reward 1,000 merit points. Ding! Completed the investigation of the Fish Dragon Village incident and discovered the truth. Reward 3,000 merit points. Zhou nodded with satisfaction. Now, he would have to find another way to earn merit points. While Zhou was contemplating this matter, a derived Moon Palace's female cultivator walked slowly into the Great Hall. "Pavilion Master, Zhang Aijin requests an audience. He's at the foot of the mountain." "Let him up." "Understood." Little Yuaner, Mingshi Yin, and Duan Musheng rushed into the hall when they heard the news. A moment later, escorted by the derived Moon Palace's female cultivator, Zhang Aijin appeared outside the Evil Sky Pavilion's Great Hall. During his journey here, he had been looking around curiously, swiveling his head left and right. A blade of grass could be seen between his lips. He asked, Hey, when did you join the Evil Sky Pavilion? Is it scary here? This is the base of the villains, right? Aren't you afraid at all?" Zhang Aijin continued to ask a barrage of questions as he made his way to the Great Hall. "I didn't expect to see so many women in the Evil Sky Pavilion." He clicked his tongue. "This tree looks nice. The greenstone floor looks nice as well." Zhang Aijin's curious expression was still evident on his face as he slowly walked into the Great Hall. Mingshi Yin asked, "Is this Zhang Aijin?" Little Yuana replied, "That's him. You can tell by his thick skin. Since Master regards him highly, he must have some outstanding qualities." Zhang Aijin walked up to the people inside the hall and waved his hand in a sheepish manner as he said, "Old senior, I'm not used to such a grand welcome. Quick, give me the nice sword and I'll be on my way." Zhou stroked his beard calmly and said, "Zhang Aijin, is there anything, old senior?" "Sit down and talk." "There's no need for that. We're old acquaintances now. Just give me the nice sword, and I'll be on my way immediately." Zhang Aijin was feeling less and less confident by the minute. Zhou waved his hand. The derived Moon Palace's female cultivator at the side presented Zhang Aijin with a sword. Zhang Aijin took the sword with his right hand. In just a blink of an eye, crack! The sword broke. "No way. Old senior, is this what you mean by a nice sword? Is this the sword you meant when you said it's worth the trouble for me to come and personally collect it?" Zhang Aijin looked at the broken sword in shock. Duan Musheng said, "This is the best sword in the Evil Sky Pavilion. It's made from a 1,000-year tree, and a master craftsman carved the patterns on it." Duan Musheng continued to say, "The Evil Sky Pavilion's disciples learned and trained with this sword. Sword Devil Yu Shangrong had once used this sword to kill 1,000 of his enemies." Duan Musheng's words were powerful and resonated in the Great Hall. Zhang Aijin was speechless. These F***king trolls. This is just a wooden sword, but they're making it sound so amazing. Is there even anyone who would be on my side here? Zhang Aijin looked at Zhou and said, "Old senior, my heart's feeling slightly cold right now." Zhou stroked his beard and said, "This is indeed a nice sword. You don't want it? Old senior, you said you hate petty men who don't keep their words. No matter how much you hype this wooden sword, it still won't turn into a treasure. Although I'm a sword maniac, my mind is still sound. I don't want this sword." Jiang Aijin said, feeling aggrieved. "Are you sure?" "Yes." "You'll have to pay for it then." Zhou said indifferently, "This sword is extremely precious to the Evil Sky Pavilion, and yet you just broke it. If you don't pay for the damage, I'm afraid—" He left the sentence unfinished. Ming Shi Yin's separation hook and scabbard in Duanmu Sheng's overlord spear flickered brightly at this moment. Jiang Aijin gulped. He took a step back and waved his hand. "No, no, no. I'll pay for the sword. I will. How much is it?" Ming Shi Yin smirked. "Do you think that it can be valued with money? What would you have me do, then? Should I contact a craftsman to duplicate this sword?" "That won't do. We want this original wooden sword," Ming Shi Yin said. Jiang Aijin tossed the remaining half of the wooden sword away. He dusted his hands and said, "I get it now. You tricked me, old senior. Let's cut to the chase, shall we?" Zhou stood up and descended the stairs with his hands on his back. He walked up to Jiang Aijin and said, "This is what I like about dealing with intelligent people. If I were intelligent, I wouldn't have been tricked by you." Jiang Aijin muttered to himself. "Jiang Aijin, you used me numerous times to help you remove obstacles from the palace. You're the first person who's daring enough to behave in such an atrocious manner toward me." Jiang Aijin's expression changed. He took several steps backward. At this moment, the Derived Moon Palace's female cultivators stood in a row, blocking the entrance of the Evil Sky Pavilion. At the same time, an old man whose hair and beard were white slowly walked into view from outside the Great Hall. As he moved, 8 trigrams moved with him under his feet. The 6 huge scripts radiated with golden light as they circled him. Yin Sexhua Wudao. Jiang Aijin was on the verge of tears. He hastily waved his hand. "Old senior, this is all a misunderstanding." When little Yuan saw this, she clapped her hands happily and said, "Quick, lock the doors. I'd like to see where he's going to run to. Senior brother, catch him and beat him to a pulp." "Oh, my dear aunt, I have no quarrels with you. Why do you have to do this? Why is there a need to use blades and swords?" Jiang Aijin said. Zhou said calmly, "Stand back, everyone." "Understood." The Derived Moon Palace's female cultivators returned to their original positions. Ming Shi Yin and Duanmu Sheng stowed their heaven-grade weapons away as well. The ring of light on Hua Wudao's body vanished instantly. He cupped his fist slightly at Zhou and said, "Is this the cultivator who said to love swords of bones and values a sword as much as his life? One of the 3 great sword freaks, Jiang Aijin?" Jiang Aijin scratched his head sheepishly and said, "Those are all exaggerations, merely exaggerations." Zhou shook his head and said, "The name, Jiang Aijin, is only meant to conceal his own identity. Who would have thought that such an unbridled and uninhibited person is the 3rd prince of the majestic Great Yan?" A deathly stillness pervaded the Evil Sky Pavilion's great hall. Zhou's words shocked everyone. How could this craving, glib, and eccentric man be Great Yan's 3rd prince? Nothing about him resembles a person from the palace. Is Master getting senile? The disciples had different thoughts running through their minds. Naturally, none of them dared to verbalize their thoughts. Jiang Aijin was momentarily stunned. When he regained his senses, he said, "Old senior, you jest. How can I be the 3rd prince?" Zhou did not expect Jiang Aijin to admit to it immediately. He said calmly, "My disciple, that rascal Yi Qianxin, spent 5 years digging to the palace archives, and the conclusion she arrived at was that I'm the one behind the Fish Dragon Village incident. And yet, a rogue cultivator like you managed to discover the truth. How did you manage it?" Jiang Aijin said, "I've told you I have friends in the palace." Hu Wudao, who had just entered the great hall, asked, "What kind of friend has access to such top-secret information?" Jiang Aijin was at a loss for words. Hua Wudao continued, "Greetings, Your Highness." He was from the Yin sect, after all. He could never dispose of the convoluted and over-elaborate etiquette. Seeing this, who knew if it was a force of habit or a slip of tongue, Zhang Aijin said solemnly, "You may dispense with the formalities." As soon as he realized his mistake, he slapped a hand over his mouth. He said hastily, "A misunderstanding. Truly a misunderstanding. Everything's amiss." He trailed off a sigh before he finally said, "Fine." Wu Dao straightened himself respectfully. Lu Zhou nodded his head and said, "I have time on my hands. I'm not worried you won't admit to it." Zhang Aijin said with a sigh, "I went to so much trouble to send information to the Evil Sky Pavilion. Old senior, I'm very troubled by this treatment." Mingshi-yin interjected, "Cut the nonsense. Since you're a prince, the Evil Sky Pavilion's obstacles were your obstacles as well." It was clear Zhang Aijin had used the Evil Sky Pavilion. Who would be brave enough to do this? Even Yu Zhenghai, the sect master of the Nether Sect, did not dare to use the Evil Sky Pavilion when he was trying to expand his territory, even though he could have done so. Zhang Aijin hastily waved his hands and said, "Foul! I'm crying foul. I told the old senior that I hate the schemes and deceptions in the palace. That's why I left the palace and all the nonsense and disputes there. No matter how many obstacles you removed, old senior, I can't go back to being a prince." Hua Wudao said, "Your Highness, why did you maintain a connection with the palace then?" Zhang Aijin sighed again when he heard Hua Wudao's question. "Although I'm a prince, I do have a few best friends. You can laugh at me if you want, but I admire the lives of the common folks. However, it's difficult to care only about yourself under the skies of Great Yan. I had no choice but take on the alias of Zhang Aijin and become a free and unfettered rogue cultivator. The three sword freaks possess cultivation bases in the nascent divinity tribulation realm. It's very impressive for your highness to attain this as a rogue cultivator," Hua Wudao said respectfully. "That's only a false reputation," Zhang Aijin said. "What a great speech." Lu Zhou said, "If you have no interest in this, why did you betray your own brother?" Zhang Aijin was taken aback. "The mastermind behind the Fish Dragon Village incident is the second prince. Not only did you not defend your brother, but you even stabbed him in the back. Who would believe you have no personal interest in this?" Everyone's eyes were trained on Zhang Aijin at this moment. The current situation resembled a court in session where a criminal was being examined. He, Zhang Aijin, was the main character of this hearing. Zhang Aijin sighed and said, "The most fickle people under the heavens are the princes." Inside the palace walls, apart from protocols and rules, nothing else mattered but power and status. There was no place for familial relationships. Lu Zhou stroked his beard and said, "Back to the topic. Do you know why I was investigating the Fish Dragon Village incident?" "Isn't it for your sixth disciple?" Zhang Aijin asked in confusion. Lu Zhou shook his head and said, "That's not all. Do you know Ding Fanqiu?" Hua Wudao frowned slightly when he heard Ding Fanqiu's name. He said, "Ding Fanqiu is a member of my Yun sect." Mingshi-yin retorted, "Elder Hua, please be aware of your current position and attitude. Ding Fanqiu impersonated my master and committed crimes everywhere he went. He defamed master and the Evil Sky Pavilion. According to rules, he should be cut into 8 pieces and thrown to the back of the mountain to feed the wild beasts." While Wu Dao's old face turned red when he came to the Evil Sky Pavilion, he had already resigned from his post as a Yun sect elder. "I've heard of him," Zhang Aijin said darkly. "Ding Fanqiu told me all the commotion in the Measure Heaven River's Fish Dragon Village is to find a special bone," Lu Zhou said. "Is that so?" Zhang Aijin scratched his head. "Zhang Aijin, do you think I'm gullible?" Lu Zhou's cloudy eyes looked at Zhang Aijin pointedly. Zhang Aijin was discomfited by this and did not know how to react. Finally, he said, "Old senior, since you already know about this, why do you have to ask?" This was as good as an admission. Lu Zhou asked, "The palace has been fishing out bodies from the river for a decade. In your opinion, did the palace gain anything?" "No." "What's this special bone?" Lu Zhou asked again. Zhang Aijin looked around himself. He seemed to be mindful of the many pairs of ears here. Lu Zhou did not mind this at all. He said, You should understand that at this point, it's meaningless to conceal these things from me. Jiang Aijian cupped his fist at Lu Zhou. At this moment, his frivolous manner seemed to have disappeared as he said, I have no need to lie to you, old senior. To be honest, I think that many of them have forgotten that I'm a prince in the palace since I left the palace many years ago. There aren't many of my friends left in the palace as well. In a few years, perhaps there won't be a third prince in this world. He continued to say, while investigating the incident at Measure Heaven River, 2 men were killed. Naturally, they can't blame anyone for their lack of skills. The Great Hall was quiet now. Jiang Aijian continued, My brother's a cruel man. He's unfit to be the ruler of this nation. I believe you, Lu Zhou said. Thank you, old senior.